Administrator. And I think we have 1 minutes for this fine evening. Anyone want to be on this? Jump to minutes?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a phone call.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
You got a second?
I'll second it.
Alrighty, any discussion, gents?
None.
All in favor then?
Aye.
We've had minutes. Alrighty. While we're signing that and it's going around the room, I'll open up the public comment. Leo?
Yeah, listening to the two women who were here last week for the insurance, are we bound with that company, or is it something that can be explored, or, I know every year, people, you have to, whether you're on Medicare or Obamacare, or whatever, you have to go through your insurances to see if you wanna maintain that insurance, maintain that cost, or the costs do increase if you wanna move someplace else. Are we stuck, I'm using the word stuck, but are we bound to stay with Anthem, or are there other options?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there are other options. We have the opportunity to use them, but it takes time to go out there and get all the numbers and see if it's worthwhile and such. I think we did that exercise last year or the year before.
It was, I think it was the year before,
Year before.
cause last year we changed the prescription plan with this company.
And that being said, what ends up happening is, it's a real lengthy process.
Yeah,
So we need to start that if we're gonna do it, we need to start it long before we get to this point in time.
right, no, and I understand that because I
But
go through it.
the short answer is no, we're not bound by it.
Okay, because I go through it also, all the time, and it is, I understand the process, that I know, because in the first place, you have to try to compare everything all the time,
Yeah.
you're always comparing this one with that one. I just know that sometimes some companies raise their rates so much that you can actually move to another company and
Right.
save a lot of money, that's all, So, you're just curious if that's the way it goes, if we're stuck or not, that's all.
We're part of a pool also, right?
Yes.
So we get the benefit of, cause we're under 50.
Yeah, no, I
So we're part
understand
of
that
the
too,
pool,
right,
we get
exactly, yeah.
Some benefit from too.
I was just curious,
Yeah.
thinking about it during the week, I was like, I wonder if for some reason we are bound with Anthem.
Like I say, I think the short answer is technically no, we aren't, but, to take and replace them, it's gonna take on a huge chunk of work and a lot of time that we don't have at this point in time in the budget season, even though we're just beginning.
I don't think they even present their costs or their price till, late in the year,
Mhm.
if I'm correct, right?
Right.
Around November 1st, I think,
Yeah,
is
we
when
just
their
got that.
prices come out.
October 18th, I think it was.
Okay, that's when they come out, yeah. So I understand, it doesn't leave you with a lot of time, because again,
21st.
I go through this every year too, and it's a process, you have to, but I just received some information today from Anthem, actually, and that's what made me think even more, because their price was like way out of the ballpark compared to what it was before. I was like, I can't believe they're sending me this at this time,
Yep.
Is that based on an independent contractor? You as a
No,
person, or
that's just
are you under an employer that?
No,
they're
that's
notifying
just
you?
a single person.
Okay,
Okay, but my point is, the prices change so drastically from year to year, is my point, and options change so drastically from year to year that and I understand, it's hard to keep up with it, I find it that's ridiculous, but just question, that's all.
I mean, no, I think you make a good point. I wish we had the resources here, like someone that's, an HR type of person.
Right,
That could actually
exactly.
stay focused
Yeah.
on that kind of stuff along
Yeah,
with everything
right.
else.
Yeah.
Then we might be able to take advantage of moving from one company to another, but.
Is that something that somebody in the office could work on
Exactly.
earlier?
But in my honest opinion, right now, we don't have the resources in that office to do that, because
Right.
we only have one full-time person, and that's Lean.
Right,
And she's doing all of the jobs, including HR and that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, just bringing it up, because again, I see the drastic differences in the numbers, and I'm looking
hear
at
what
this,
you're
and I'm
saying.
like, this is, I don't even understand why they think people are gonna buy their product when they move so far up sometimes,
Don't disagree with what you're saying, my friend, I
Okay.
really do, but I think, like I said, the short answer is no, we're not bound by them, I don't believe, 100%. But we're kind of bound by them because of just the one, lack of resources, and two, timing, at this point in time.
I wonder if someone that was knowledgeable enough could be involved in it next year, prior to,
Possible,
to maybe coordinate the information.
you volunteer?
I'm not that knowledgeable about it, that's the problem.
Try
It is a big project.
to get you some help,
We,
maybe.
we really dug into it
Yeah.
2 years
So,
ago.
Yeah, you did.
And
most of
it
the
went,
results,
it was actually, what they were
Mhm.
trying to sway us to was the, more of a supplemental, like the,
Oh, the Aflac thing?
Yeah, the Aflac,
Oh, right, I remember
and that was,
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah, it
yeah, that
is,
was a
it's,
little scary.
because they're the prime example, you go with them, they entice you into going in, and then I contact all these towns that have jumped on board,
Right.
and the administrators are responding to my emails saying it was the worst mistake, I'm an interim administrator, I don't know why the town did this, they're not,
right, yeah.
their employees can't get
That's-
hold of
That's why I say,
anybody.
you know, you'd have to have somebody who has some kind of a knowledge about it, because, and I mean, I deal with it, but it's like one of these things all the time, you know? You need to have somebody that's knowledgeable enough that can do that
Yeah,
comparison. and,
we do
you know.
check on a regular
Yeah.
basis,
Yeah,
because I
okay.
know I've reached out to, Allstate, Prudential, you know, just the companies that would be aside from these well-known companies
Mhm.
like the,
Yeah, right.
Health Trust and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they can't, when they look at mine, and I just send out the information, they said they can't even touch
Yeah, okay,
these
because
numbers
probably because you're in the pool.
in a
and
pool,
everything,
yeah.
Alright, that was my
Yeah.
question, that's it. I'm set.
Yeah, and to get an HR person, I don't think you have enough manpower in town to
Keep them busy,
substantiate, well, not even to keep them busy, but to substantiate the cost. Cause you know, you divide the cost by a number of employees, you might find out it's counterproductive, you know,
Yeah.
as far as your budget.
That's why
Yeah.
you give them more stuff to do. He charges one token, part of their job. Alright, going down the road, Tammy,
Yeah.
public comment right now, if you have anything you wanna add, Woody?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Does the town plan on picking up their leaves across at the school and the firehouse and that kind of deal?
First time I've ever heard that since I've been sitting here.
Well, I just know because I've cleaned my yard, I'm going on the third time now, and they're coming across the street.
That's an act of God in all
Yeah,
honesty, my
I
friend.
know.
I mean, I got leaves coming from my neighbor's yard, I don't have a tree along my northern thing, and I've got more leaves in my yard than, you know, you could fill this room,
I'm just asking a question.
so.
That's
Are you
all.
asking me to double check with
No,
our?
I just
our-
asking if they're
our-
gonna pick them up or am I gonna keep
I
contending?
think it's part of the
with them?
maintenance folks that should be taking care of that.
That's all I'm asking, I
Right.
mean,
The lawn care.
I gotta clean my yard
That's in the
anyways,
school,
but I'm just
isn't it?
asking if.
No, we take
Kinda
care of
help
it.
me out a little.
Yeah.
There's one
Mike
section
Underwood has
over
that.
by the library that, I
Mhm,
mean, the leaves are pretty deep, and it's, you know, that side of the ramp,
mhm.
I don't know if you saw how many leaves are in there.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's a
always like
fire
that.
hazard.
The
you know?
library?
It's always like
Yeah.
that. Right where the ramp goes down, kids
Yeah.
walk
Yeah,
through the building.
I thought he just cleaned all that out.
Probably did.
But one windy day of filling
When I
it
went
back up
Monday
again too.
to take the measurements, was it Monday or Tuesday, whatever, those leaves were there.
Okay. Cause he just dropped off his invoice for last payment, so I'll make sure that he,
Cause that gets it off my list at the end of the night, but I talked to Mary and there was, I mean, there's a lot of leaves there, so it isn't, it is a fire hazard.
and you're saying that over in front of the school, or?
Yeah, the whole area over there, nothing's been done. I mean, and I get it, you know, they come across the street, I clean them up, but this is getting old. I keep cleaning them up.
Happens to me every year. In fact, my
Yeah,
son
we
and
have
I
that.
took, spent probably half a day cleaning our yard, and then, was it, this Wednesday? No, Tuesday. We had the rain and everything, the wind. I come home, my yard is clean when I left, come home, I mean, literally looked worse than it did when I cleaned
Yeah,
it.
mine too.
No, and I understand that, but we do pay a
It was the old
contract.
trees that were
They got
holding onto their leaves.
Just ask
all
them.
Trees,
taken
well,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do that. Okay.
Alrighty, anything else?
No, just ask them.
John? John, you got anything public comment? Oh, you Ken?
I came late with the topic.
It's public comment, we have public comment in the beginning, at the end, so in case there's something, you know, you're not gonna pull in, you wanna get something off your chest or ask a question before, you know, we go through the whole meeting, so you don't have to sit here.
But, listening to this whole thing about the leaves, I actually use the leaves in the garden, you know, I cut them up for a mulch. Is there anything against my coming down and picking up some of this stuff down here?
Why wouldn't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No?
So, yeah.
Haven't had it.
You feel.
I got some more.
We might come down and drag some.
Could you,
Big line.
Ken, can you spell your last name for me, please?
K-O-E-R-B-E-R.
I'm sorry.
Koerber.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm soft spoken, sorry.
You know, I have hearing problems too sometimes.
What?
Well, that's your chance, John, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. There you go.
No, is this the right time to bring this up? Allison wants to be appointed to the old home day.
That'd be more towards, well, you're on the agenda for Old Home Day, so you can,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
and the appointment paper's already in the pile here too, so
Yeah.
we're aware of that. Anything else, folks? Going once, twice, sold. End of public comment, thank you. Alright, John, you're next. You can come up, or can if you're with them, by all means. Then that way we can hear you better.
Look at that, we're on schedule. Lean, you are good.
I'll be right back.
Must know it was a well-run meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I know she doesn't put times on here anymore. She used to take me at 7:15, 7:20, 7:25.
Oh, yeah, no, she learned her lesson on that, and they never stuck.
Yeah,
But she was accurate in saying you're on at 7:15.
yep, there you go.
Alrighty, sir. The floor is yours here, budget.
Yep, we're gonna talk about the, budget for Old Home Day. Did some thinking and, this year's event, and then also a couple of other, earlier, events, you know, and, starting off here, I don't think that there's gonna be, fireworks, okay? And, both from a cost viewpoint and a couple of years now, whether, there's been an issue and whatnot, and the place to launch them from is probably, in doubt now, so, and we noticed this year that the common started to enter somewhere around 2:30 or so, and the ham and bean supper was light,
Yep.
okay? And part of that was, we feel that when there were the fireworks, people had a reason to kind of spend the whole day, and the dinner and whatnot, knowing that the fireworks were, coming. The years that there haven't been fireworks, we have, noticed that the commons tends to empty a little bit early and all that kind of stuff, so, putting all that together, we'd, like, getting to the bottom line here, I'd like to, request a budget of 5,000, I'll just bring that number to you. In the past, it has been 3,500, and then there was also the fireworks at 4,500, which worked out to a total for the day of town activities, town paid for activities of $8,000 budgeted, and five's a reduction of 3 over those years. We need to come up with some event for after the ham and bean supper, and that is going to cost some money. We've had a few ideas, but we'll be meeting in January, setting up for next year's event. And at that time, we will look at everything rather than try to bring all that to you now, because
Yeah, I thought I saw an email from, maybe it might have been you or someone else there, was pretty involved on some ideas regarding,
Is
And it's
Allison
very-
is attached to the, appointment paper?
Yeah, there's been
Okay.
some good stuff going
Yes.
around, Alfred's had some good input
Yes.
too.
Yeah. So, we were thinking that, also, this year, we, lost the fireworks, yes, and,
that was the request of the, Recreation Committee, I believe.
Yeah, it was, yeah, they,
I wonder if that should have been their decision to make that, whereas it affected this.
well, wasn't it in their budget?
No,
Did I
it's a
recall?
group account
Was
numbers.
Well, it's in their budget per se, in the sense
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
it's
just kinda
Parks and
wondering,
Recreation, but
Right.
Yeah, cause this document here's got Parks and Rec on it, as well as Old Home Day,
Right, we had to
So
categorize
the-
and group these type of things
Yeah.
together.
okay?
but, we had, so far, thoughts have been, things like a band or, like musical thing, which could involve the public getting involved with singing and all that kind of stuff, or the contra dance, or evening games, or a laser show projected on the side of the town hall building. Just ideas, but all of those are going to cost some money, so because we don't have the fireworks for that draw, we'd like to have, to put something in its place, and that's going to cost some money. Also, we lost the bounce houses due to the insurance company. So, this year, we had a kids crafts thing that
Yeah,
Ken lined up.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab this one.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll in the sense of trying to put more content into the Old Home Day, particularly for kids and for kids and their parents type thing. And, it's up at Centipede, that's where I ran into Dave Emerson, who was running this, operation where kids came in and made wooden spoons. And the kids would be there for hours, and the parents were totally involved, so I talked to him about coming down here, and he hemmed and hawed, but we negotiated, and he actually showed up. I was really impressed at how many parents and children have worked together. He didn't have the spoon operation, cause that would have required a set of dedicated volunteers to make sure they didn't cut themselves with
Right,
knives and all
yeah.
that. I couldn't pull that together yet, it was not enough time.
Mhm.
But, it does have a lot of other stuff going there, and just a lot of good conversation. I had planned two other activities, a basket making and a rock splitting, which also involves kids and really goes over well. I learned my lesson, you can't count on volunteers, for the rock splitter counts to the last minute. And the basket maker, there was a family affair and they split. So I've been going around to some of the other venues, and there are a number of people who are professional demonstrators in the sense that it's their craft.
Yep.
But for a fairly modest fee, to offset travel and materials, they'll come and actually do a setup. And that's why we have money in here, I think about 1,000 for 3 anchor activities. Particularly, I'd really like to get somebody doing the rock splitting. You know, you look around here, you see the stone walls with the drill holes and that, and kids love to pound on the wedges, and all of a sudden the rock opens up. There's a woman I almost lined up for basket making, cause it's the same thing, you take a brown ash log and you pound it, you get the strips, you peel them off, and you get these gorgeous baskets that the Native Americans made, et cetera. And you can make small ones with the kids.
Yep.
Too many of these people are aging out, you know, they're in their 60s and 70s, there's no generation coming behind them, unfortunately.
Careful,
So
you're treading on some dangerous ground here.
Yeah,
Calling
you know.
us all old.
No, I mean, that's really, I'm digressing, but across the whole volunteer spectrum. You get a lot of people our age that are willing to go out and volunteer and put our time out. You know, drop down 20 years and that same spirit is hard to find. But anyway, that's why there's about 1,000 in there. I figured, the going rate seems to be about 300 for a reasonable demonstrator. If I start in January, I have a number of contacts. I'm sure I can line up at least 3 kind of anchor points, if you will, and I'm gonna try to get maybe people like Boynton here in town to come up and do his oxbows, you know, things like that that kind of augment it. But try to build on that year to year, and once you get it started, then other people will kind of jump in.
Right.
So that's the thinking behind it.
And that kind of activity, the kids really enjoy doing things with their hands. The library had a bottle tossing thing, and the kids were having a ball with that, but crafts and all that kind of stuff too. That's really big, and it brings in some flavor of the old times.
Yeah, the historic element of Old Home Day.
Which, if that
Sounds
stuff's
more like my childhood.
yeah. We heard very, very little from groups here in town, other groups, but I think if we build it up to more of a happening with that kind of thing, both for kids and maybe even for adults,
Yeah.
we will then be able to get more of the local people back in, and I think that's gonna work out well. And just as an aside, I've had some people tell us that they couldn't get a hold of us on the town website. Because we are listed off the rec committee, and they
Oh, the drop downs, we don't, okay.
well, we are there, but you have to know to click and then go.
So you don't have your own location.
Well, there should be
Yeah.
other committees and boards on their own committee, really.
Yeah, and.
Budget-wise, you're grouped with the rec commission, but you're separate from them.
Right, so can we get our own tab?
You guys good with that?
Yeah, I
Thank you.
will work on that.
Yeah, we will. That makes sense.
Yeah, sure does.
I think that will really help.
Well, you probably just group with one of the committees as you go down the list, cause you click on that thing and it opens up all the committees and boards, so,
Yeah.
you know. it'd be
Right. But you go down and see energy and all the others.
Right,
And rec and then all the others, but you don't see Old Home Day. It's
right.
kinda like,
You should have your own.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'll change it, I'll
thank
have
you.
Dan change it, I won't be able to change it, but I'll ask him to change it.
I
It will be
think that'll
changed.
good.
It will.
Now, the committees and stuff, do they have their own email addresses, like we do, like cemetery trustees and selectmen and all that sort of thing?
We have limited users or accounts, cemetery is one of them.
Yeah.
As we start to increase those, dunbartonnh.org emails, then it tacks on to a user license. So we have to be careful with how and who we put on there, but in the case of John, I don't think you had objected to putting your email for contact before?
Right, and
Or maybe we just have a Gmail account and put that up
Yeah,
there, so
good
that would.
Gmail.
Who's gonna monitor the Gmail?
right,
The chair of the
Oh,
committee.
yeah, that's what, okay, I see what you're saying, yes, absolutely, that's what we would do,
but
is use the emails.
like the different people working on the committee, and not all are members, right?
Right.
But they have all been fine. Like each of us has an area. So for this type of thing, you contact this person. For that type of thing, contact that person. And so far, we have been using just our own emails.
Yeah, works fine.
No, I meant as in, like, you know, you put your Old Home Day up there, you know, and then you contact us, and as a Gmail account, you know, say Old Home Day at Gmail, for example. And
Yeah.
that way, you know what the name is, you know what the password
And you can
what?
share that with everyone
Yeah.
can have access
So
to
that-
that Gmail.
Oh, just one.
Yeah,
Yep.
Old Home
Okay.
Day,
Yeah,
Dunbarton,
Yeah,
and
some of
then
that
at
nature.
Gmail.
Yeah, we can set it up like that, so that way, people that go on the website, they can click it, email you guys, and you can go in and take and pull it up, and, you know, if it's, you know, you go in there first, John, and you say, oh, it's for something for Ken, you could forward it to Ken's
Right.
personal email, or just, you know, or whatever the case may be, or Ken goes in there and goes, oh, that's for me, and
Yep.
you can respond back and forth, but I mean, that way, it doesn't put all your personal emails out there
Okay, you don't wanna do that.
and, you know, out to the public,
Yeah.
True,
It's-
because then you get spam and junk
Mhm.
and
spam, junk, and all that stuff.
solicitors and.
Also, right to know goes
Wow,
as
that
part of
would
that
be
too,
something new.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we operate the, our calendar on the website, it's a Gmail account, a calendar that I created,
Yeah,
and I've given, everyone that has access in this office can use that same calendar. So if they need to put
Nice.
something personal, a notice, the minutes, anything like
Just to
that.
give you guys a little separation as a committee, so you don't get, you know, sucked into that right to know stuff, because if you're using your personal email and someone has a right to know request, and they say, I wanna know all the emails regarding Old Home Day, because they have an issue for whatever reason it may be. You know, so they didn't like, the rock splitting thing went wrong and they cut their finger, you know, that sort of thing. And they think they're gonna find something in an email that says it's dangerous. They could take and actually have all your computers, your personal computers would have to come in and be, you know, gone through. And we don't wanna try to do
Oh,
that.
what a great society we live in.
Well, it's all part of right to know, and if your town business has been done on your computer, it's all subject to that, you know, it's a little slimy, but it did work.
so,
They say forewarned is forearmed,
Yes.
appreciate it.
So that's why we wanna try to, you know, segregate you guys from that potential thing, you know,
Keep
use
your
a
personal
public email.
stuff personal.
right, so that also sounds like the type of thing we should use to contact exhibitors, bands,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
vendors, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we would have access to that to be able to send, right?
Of course, she has a regular Gmail account, whoever's.
That's what I thought, I just needed to hear.
I wouldn't pass out to everybody and their brother that's on the committee, but I mean, you know, like Ken's got
Yeah.
some particular need for it, you do,
Business.
maybe, I mean, you know.
Yeah, cause
those
I'll
are-
be talking to the various demonstrators,
Right.
trying to negotiate something.
So I mean, you guys could share it amongst yourselves as a committee, but I mean, you know, you get some people who said aren't members, but, you know, you gotta be careful, you don't wanna just throw it out there for everybody to use. Just a thought, I mean,
That's a good-
It's good, it's
Yeah.
good.
cause I mean, you guys are doing a great job for the town and putting a lot of work to it, we don't wanna get you guys getting caught behind the 8 ball or anything
Yeah,
like
and
that.
you know, sometimes you're just too naive, you don't
Yeah.
realize what actually goes on.
Well, it's easy to assume that everybody's, you
Then
know,
you
got
get
good
slammed
intentions,
and then
Yeah.
it's a little late.
so.
Okay, any questions or clarifications or whatever?
No, at the moment,
No,
no.
no, I went through,
Okay.
what they have described. One of the things I noticed though is, I understand that the ham and bean supper is hinged on Old Home Day. And again, it's a private entity, so are they doing any PR other than just signage? You know, in the past, they've had a lot of people reaching out, which, I mean, to be real honest, I never received a call.
Well,
And I don't think I'm the only one, so I'm just wondering if, you know, we got to that age where, like you said, not enough volunteers.
Yeah.
So the signs and a little snippet in the paper, sometimes that has an impact on that.
yeah, this year, unlike previous years, there were signs put out for the supper, but that group, like a lot of others, is low on people jumping in to help, so they're
I guess my point
worded on
is
the
that,
signs, but the thought is, if we incorporate them more in Old Home Day, that also benefits us, because it has people stay around longer, it's a
right, but
full-paced,
losing it, John,
you know.
losing them at 2:30, that gives you a large window opening of someone not being around. And my thing is, whether or not that entity also projects that they're having that, so it keeps people, you know, wanting to be around, cause they're probably gonna go to the dinner.
And we haven't talked about any Allison on the committee, but she addressed a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They observed what had happened and had a number of positive suggestions how we
Yeah.
could bridge that
They
period.
may also wanna consider changing their time, if they're
That's
stuck
what
on
I said.
5,
Right.
She was
might be
talking about,
4, that would work out
yeah,
better.
she talked about maybe moving up to 4:30 rather
Right.
than 5.
Yeah.
And by the same token, if the parade were a little bit later, that would also give a better continuity through the day. So there are a couple ideas that are being looked at to try to.
And especially if you have entertainment afterwards,
Exactly.
for the evening, cause and some people may go to the supper and some people may not, but it would draw people in
Exactly.
a second time.
Yeah, and that's kinda like the,
That's
the mode here is to make things mutually beneficial.
absolutely.
And I think having something after the ham and bean supper that would draw a lot of people would help them. And at the same time, helping them would help us.
Right, but I'm just saying jointly, there should be promotional,
Oh, yeah.
a little more promotional from the other side to stimulate
Exactly.
some involvement, you know?
Clearly, there was lack of coordination this past year.
Yes.
And everybody acknowledges that, and so we're working hard to correct that.
And then you lost a key person, Nancy, in the middle of it.
Yeah, that didn't help.
That didn't help. She was really coordinating
Oh,
your
geez,
minutes
yes.
and
She was
meetings.
with us right up to the end, in terms of, we met in her hospital room, and she had great ideas. And then a week later, she's gone.
It's a shame.
We do miss her in several ways.
Understand.
Okay, switching topics slightly, is it appropriate for, getting Allison on the committee? Is that, great.
So, you wanna take and fill your ranks with Allison?
Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty, well, that's a simple
She's
one.
got a lot of energy, a lot of good ideas.
That's easy peasy.
Yeah, well then I will make a motion that we appoint Allison Valiers to the Old Home Day Committee, the term ending March 2017. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Alright, we have a second. Any discussion, gents?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
If you guys are looking at Karen Morgan and Pony Express, they're excellent. As one of the bands,
Again, sorry.
Karen Morgan and Pony Express, but she lives in New Boston,
Yeah,
and, I'm familiar with the band, they're
Oh, it's band.
very good. Yeah,
Good input.
yeah, real good.
They appeal across the age spectrum?
Oh, they do, they're a country western band, but she's very talented, the whole band is very talented. But she's,
I keep thinking I've heard that name come up. from
well,
one of
she did the, I don't know if she's still involved, but it was one of those riding things there for the, kids that, had, issues down in,
Gospel.
I think in Goffstown, yeah, she was like the spokesperson or something there. I saw her recently over at, the Circle 9 over in Epsom. I hadn't seen her in a while, but yeah, she's fantastic. Really, really good band. Very talented group, but they live in New Boston. And, they played on the Common over there a few years back too, went to the gazebo, they had, Karen Morgan, but I've seen her many times. Yeah, really good. I say sign her up.
Have to see if she's busy.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the problem. Someone saw
Yeah.
her at New Boston, in New Boston, and she wasn't available.
Yeah, that's just it, she's so popular, you've been booking her now.
Yeah,
Well, and that's why we
Yeah.
started in January,
Yeah.
we didn't start till June, and it was too late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what they charge, but, they're pretty regular over at the, Circle 9, about every 5 or 6 weeks they're there.
that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, just gotta get Allison in here to get sworn in, or sworn out, whatever it works, and it should be, good to go in that respect.
Okay.
Sure.
So,
Okay, anything else for us?
How do you feel about our budget request? Do you have any, I
Yeah,
know
so, yeah,
you are
this
not
is-
ready to answer that
Yeah,
yet.
we're right in the infancy of putting the budget together,
Alright.
take everything into consideration, I mean, you've got a reasonable argument, for the increase. We'll take it into consideration as we go through it and, compare it to the whole budget as a,
Yeah.
as a one piece, I don't disagree with what you're saying, far as, needing, some type of draw if you wanna keep it going, so, I mean, you got some good ideas there. Keep working
that's all
on it.
we ask is
Yep.
that we present, you consider.
But that's just my opinion, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
no.
other gentlemen here that need to weigh in as well, so.
Looks good.
thank you for
Okay.
taking the
Good
time
ideas.
to present.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
thanks, guys.
If you got other ideas or thoughts or, information to add between now and the time we finalize the budget,
No,
come see us or give it to Lean and,
Yeah, we'll start in January, so.
And conversely, if you have any questions,
oh, absolutely,
please ask.
absolutely, no, you don't have a problem asking, you guys come in.
It's not a very long drive.
Thank,
Thank
Have a
you.
good night, guys.
appreciate it, gents. Jeffrey, good timing, my friend.
Yeah, traffic was heavy, I was
Bet.
tied up for my house.
At least it wasn't snow.
I had to wait for a couple cars to go by. Well, that's why I thought this would be, we'll take advantage of this
Yeah.
opening right off.
Yeah, we've done this before, and it was kinda stony crap.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier. You got a lot of other ones to do, so Lean asked me. I mean, if you looked it over, you can obviously see I didn't agonize
No,
over a lot of stuff.
the only thing is that, this one here doesn't have a grand total.
It is this flat budget, 570.
Yeah,
I just noticed.
Oh,
I
I
was just my
didn't
gut feeling that
Yeah.
that probably was
Yeah.
it, but I
Yeah, it
just
looked
wanted
like the
to.
numbers were
It's
all
funny,
kinda
'cause I put
lining
it
up.
in-
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them I shifted, but for the most part.
Yeah, I noticed that, this went up and that went down, it's
Well,
like,
Well, I was, yeah, I
I
was
could see the
looking
writing.
at, what did I look at?
570K, right?
Yeah,
Basically like the,
Yeah.
it was something I noticed that looked like we weren't gonna have quite enough. So I just kinda moved, I took some from one and added the other, I mean, it's just one of those lines. One thing, like diesel fuel, I kept it exactly the same. We're running quite a bit lower this year.
Actually dropped it by, $600.
Yeah, that's where I took some of the money from. But I mean, but since all,
Mm-hmm.
I evened it at 10, and the reason I did that, cause you know yourself, Brian, it's kind of a shot in the dark what fuel price is gonna be next year.
True, no, fuel prices are gonna go up, I can tell you that, right
Is
now.
that what you're hearing at your?
They're gonna go up, but I mean, marginally.
Yeah, non,
They're saying, between the surpluses they have right now, and everything like that,
yeah,
you're looking at, not, nothing of any increase, oh god, where are we, about 240 right now, gallon up there, 250?
Yeah.
It probably, at best, they'll probably maybe 270, and that's retail, not,
yeah.
so,
Well,
I mean,
we
I feel
also,
like you're gonna have a surplus on that line, but you know what?
well, that's what I thought, I mean, it's gonna be more a realistic number. I mean, obviously, if we lowered it to $5,000 or $6,000 and we went over, we'd have to pay the bill.
Right.
And the other thing that helps that also is by having a easy winter last year.
Well,
Yeah, our own truck and the grader didn't have to go out and wing back and stuff like that, so that's some fuel savings
You've got
as well.
5,700 already used up right now, and you still have another 2 months, or a month and a half to go. We
Yeah,
don't know what kind of weather
exactly.
we're gonna have, so.
Well, we could, you're right,
It's
we.
pretty warm.
Huh?
It's
They're
really
talking
warm.
potentially rain or snow on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
In the mountains.
we could,
Uh,
no, we know
actually-
yourself, so that's, that item there.
Right, so, yeah.
Well, like, the full-time
Mhm.
individual Pete there, I mean, that's pretty much the same. The overtime, again, we didn't use as much overtime last year, or the first part of the winter,
Right.
because of lack of snow, so
Mhm.
there's very good possibility that we would use a substantial amount of that.
Yep.
In the past years, that's how we came up with that number.
Mhm.
So on that particular one, equipment maintenance, we have some work being done to our international dump truck,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a pretty good bill. It started out with a fuel issue, that it would,
Injector.
no, it wasn't, that's some sort of regulator check valve, it like loses prime if it's sat. But while I was in there and they were checking some other things out, the turbocharger has a problem. So, it still works,
Mhm.
but it's on the low side. And then consequently changing that, the exhaust manifolds, the studs are broken off on the exhaust manifolds, so
It's
they,
cascade.
they have to drill the head out, all that stuff. It's quite a project.
Yeah.
He actually contacted me and told him Matt Brown's truck repair before they gave him the go-ahead. And he said, yeah, you could take it and you could run it for a while, it's no doubt about it. That isn't gonna do us any good,
Mhm.
because we don't want it to break down in the middle of the winter.
Not just that, but, like anything, when you don't
Gets
take care of
worse.
something like that,
Yeah.
it could take and make other things break
Exactly.
down, and you end up with a big, even bigger problem.
And I mean, I don't think we're buying a new truck next year.
Probably not.
We'll have to have that discussion sometime, but not for next year.
That's about a 2,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
so,
You should be able to go another 10 years out.
yeah.
If you don't drive it.
Yeah,
I just wanna see what his face is gonna say.
yeah, I'm sure. Somebody would be able to. I mean, we've had, every year we have to dump a bunch of money in it, we really didn't have to until now, this year. But, it seems like there's always something. And of course, our 1 ton, that's new. If we decide we're gonna hold off for a period of time on replacing it, the the larger truck, we probably should paint the body or something at least, do a little,
Mhm.
cause it's getting pretty rusty. I mean,
Mhm.
if we decide we're gonna go that way, if we
How many
want.
miles you got on that beastie?
I think it's 70 or 80,000 miles, it doesn't have a super amount,
No.
but it, you know, like the exhaust manifold problem, that's on the passenger side, and you get the salt issues. You know, the type of duty it has
Right.
is the best, so I kept that number pretty much the same.
Well, is it being fixed right now?
Yes, it's
Okay, so it's gonna be this budget year.
well, this is that's what is quite a surplus in the
Yeah.
budget to date.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I was getting at, I probably should have said that, that's like a false sense of
It's gonna
security.
take a bite.
Yeah, if you went about and said, wow, you didn't use much there, what are you expecting something? Well,
Mhm.
we're gonna have a good bill,
Okay,
plus,
so the anticipation is for next year to do some body work and.
Yes, yeah.
Potentially.
you know, limited amount.
Mhm.
The cab is fine, it's just the dump body's quite bad, actually. So that was that. Tree cutting, we're gonna do some tree cutting, dead tree removal, but I kinda held off, which we do quite a bit till this time of year, because it's that in-between time, and, you know, there's not much else going on, we can work with a tree cutting guy. Also, Asplin has been doing a lot of work in town, and they've really cut a lot of trees back and trimmed a lot back, so I was kinda letting them do as much as they would do first,
Absolutely.
you know, to try to
Yep.
get as much. I would've hate to go and cut a couple dead trees and they end up taking,
Mm-hmm.
cause they seem to be doing a pretty extensive trimming job.
Yep.
So that's why there's nothing basically gone out of that, but we got a list of dead trees that need to come down, that have to be done with the tree company.
Gotcha.
We bounced down our winter contractors,
Mm-hmm.
pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
We didn't use much in the first winter part one, you know, again, you know yourself, we could have substantial amount, but I think we have plenty more than enough there to cover it.
Yep.
Usually if, I like to have like around $25,000 going into, left in that line, going into this time of year,
Mm-hmm.
and then as the year goes on, we'll see what happens, but.
You got all your sand and salt already?
Yeah, all the sand is up there in a big stockpile, we have to pay the town forest out of that, but all the labor to get it there, pile it up and all that
Yeah, I
is,
saw those in the checks.
yeah, that's done. Salt, we've,
Got a couple of those, right?
well, yeah, so far I think we've gotten 7 loads, I ordered 10, so we got 3 more to go, I think
This
they paid.
this is an up-to-date expense,
Oh.
okay, so
Oh.
we'll show, the report that he filled out was from, 11/9.
All right,
So as I can
Gotcha.
see here,
Oh,
the
that's
salt
like, yeah.
is 12,629, rather than,
Okay, so
yeah, it's on your other sheet.
that's why my numbers are different than your numbers, cause Lee just gave me the most I'm looking at
Right.
the most up-to-date one.
Right.
And matching it up.
Mm-hmm.
And a load of salt, basically $1,700,
mm-hmm.
and I anticipate I will kind of fill up and up
Mm-hmm.
going into it. But- So, that's that, so even at that rate, I mean, we wouldn't use that whole allotment of salt.
Oh, no, I know.
We budget 50,000 for the year.
I mean, if you got money in the budget right now for it, fill your
Yeah, do it.
coffers.
Yeah, no, that's what I intend to do.
Yeah.
Usually we kinda do that, anyway, we'll fill it, and then, let's say, 3 weeks or something, we can fit a couple more loads in, cause we've had to use quite a bit, I get a couple more loads and fill it up.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are 2 reasons for doing that, one, it takes advantage of the money we've already appropriated, and also,
It doesn't go bad.
it does not go bad, and also, sometimes delivery can be.
Mm-hmm. Well, who knows what next season's gonna bring too, they could have.
Yeah, and that's what's happened in the past, when, we get a bunch of storms.
Right.
Pretty busy, and you don't always, can't get it exactly when you need it, so it's good to have a stock.
And if you're using a state contractor, state comes first, cause their
Yeah,
sheds are low.
I mean, overall, I think they give us pretty good
Yeah.
service, but they, it's a trucking related thing, and
Mhm.
sometimes they can't get enough trucks to do what they need to do.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
I've had a lot of requests for the parking lot to be striped.
Yeah, I said we were
I
gonna
talked
do
to
that
you
this
about
year.
that
and
earlier
I
this
didn't
year.
do it.
about that.
Yeah, we'll get that done, we'll include it with this year's.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're thinking, looking at the
Oh.
school at the same time too.
Well, what I did is I talked to the paving, Advanced Paving Escrow, they do, seal coating as well.
Yep.
And the gentleman came over, looked at it, measured it up, and he gave me a ballpark price so I could measure it up and do it, but he was gonna check the overall condition and get back to me on it. But it's $1.50 a square foot to seal coat. So, I mean, I could go measure them up and figure it out, but I thought he was willing to measure up, I let him measure up. And what I did is I told him to break it down basically in 3 different sections.
Mhm.
The school, the lower parking lot,
Yep.
where the gymnasium is, the upper parking lot where a lot of the teachers and staff work, park, and visitors, and then in front of the police station, fire station. And the back part behind it, that's not worth crack sealing.
Yeah, no, we already had that discussion.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, with the gals from school.
Are you looking to do anything with it before winter?
Well, as far as,
I mean, I didn't know what, you know, with money you have left.
oh, no, well, the only thing we would do.
I know we
was-
talked about the thing about doing it next year, but I mean, I wasn't sure what you had, what your thoughts are.
Well, I think he was gonna give me an overall perspective on regular crack sealing, crack sealing,
Seal coating.
seal coating
Mhm.
was worth it. A lot of those paving guys tell you it isn't, but people do it to their driveways. So, I mean, it's kinda,
Yeah, but I mean, that back section, I know that we were talking.
oh, behind the fire station.
Fire station.
Yeah,
and
in the
station. It's in.
fire road.
Yeah, I know we talked about with the school folks
Yes.
that doing it in the budget next year, but I wasn't sure what your remaining funds are, if you had anything you might be able to.
Encumber like for that, cause we really can't do much to it this time of year.
Right,
I mean, we pole patch the holes that were there,
Right.
the big craters and stuff like
cause I
that.
mean, either we're gonna allow some money back in, or we can take and,
Yeah.
you know, encumber it for that kind of project next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, what you guys thinking, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
all ears.
if you can encumber it, put a contract.
The,
in
one of
place.
the other items, back to that,